Welcome to another episode of the Magic Factory at Snappy Kraken. So I'm gonna just walk you guys through a VIN that we will be releasing probably next month. I believe it's for April. So it's gonna be about the cost of raising children. So just to kind of take you through a process that we go through. Here is what the VIN comes to design department looking like. So doesn't this look lovely? Shout out to Francesca doing all that content. Wow. So really a big part of, our positioning in the market is to be different and to blend out, as Robert has done in his presentation. So it's really important for our really creative flagship product like this to think outside of the box and to really push visually what these things can look like. So if you think about the cost of raising children, the first thing you probably think about is families and, people having fun in the park, all that kind of stuff. But when we started brainstorming that, like you get into a lot of sticky situations. We're servicing a lot of different people. We don't, when you get into looking into stock photography, you have to think about diversity. You have to think about, what color are the kids and how many ages do you have? You have to think about all these things. So it really starts to box you in. So when Lindsay and I started brainstorming, which we always have the funnest time thinking about all this stuff, we started talking about, after I agonized over how much money I'm actually spending on my kids, we started talking about how kids just eat up money, just eat it up all the time. And we got on this whole little rant about Pac-Man and the whole retro gaming and the 80s style of things is really big right now. So we were like, hey, that might be a cool thing. Not right now, Logan. My kids are home, I'm sorry. So we started talking about how could we kind of morph this concept into something that can, again, we have to play with that line, the whimsy and the corporate. Like, how can it still be approachable, but how can it still be, hip and fun? So we started looking on Google. We started doing a bunch of image searches, and so this is what we ended up with. So I want to show you how we take something that is brand recognized and move it over into something that can be sustainable for the content, but also still relatable to what we were trying to move it into. So you'll see how it kind of riffed off of the Pac-Man, how we did that in the header. We also have to think about things like, how do you move it down the page? How can it still be linear? How will the animations move? We start thinking about, can a Pac-Man move across the screen and eat the pellets? How can the pellets be turned into funds, things like that? And where is the line there? How can you keep the creative line? So this is all good to go, right? We're like, woo, yes, great. Yeah, well, there's a copyright issue. Okay. So this is when we started thinking about that. Then, because I have this amazing person on my team called Lindsay who illustrates, we came up with an entirely brand new character. We were like, what if it was just like baby faces or actual kids that are actually eating these things? Because that's totally what it's like. So Lindsay totally blew it out the water with this. We talked about how big to make the pixels, how what web fonts can we use that really pulls in the 80s game, how far away can we take it from Pac-Man but still have that feeling. So this is what we end up. So and this is it's really important, in the design side for what we do, that it has to also be fun, but it also has to work. So if people don't get it, if it doesn't relate to them, if it doesn't prove what we're trying to say in the content, then it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter how cool it is if it doesn't work. So that is always something that we're keeping in mind. So we agonize a lot about, you know, what should the pellets be? What should the super funds be? How far can we take it in the 80s direction? All of that. And so just so you can kind of see how that comes, how it all comes to fruition. Shout out to Christina, because she's amazing. She also she built this for us, so you can kind of see the animation go on the screen, and how that all goes and plays out. So it's really like a joint effort. Like we hit up Christina and we're like, hey, you know, we have this kind of crazy idea. We want to see if it'll work, and you know, all that kind of stuff. So it really is like, as we talk about, just like collaboration and just having those out there ideas and figuring out how to make it work for the clients. So that is that.